What's up, guys? It's Tabletop Vibes, and today we're taking a look at Work of Heart, and it's coming to Kickstarter really soon. So I have brought my special, beautiful guest, my wife, Joy, to help talk about this first impression Kickstarter video that's coming out. We got to play the game. She won per usual.
I always win, let's be real.
Yeah. And so what is Work of Heart? So essentially this game is kind of cool. It's anime dating game, and you are, I guess your father discovered art, and you're going to this Tri-County area art school. Remember though, the tagline is, money is temporary, but art is forever. That's what it says.
And I actually personally was an art minor in real life here.
And
so
I was the goddamn worst art student there possibly was. If there could have been something that I could have got kicked out of school for, it was probably art class.
Yeah, his stick figures even look bad.
My biggest, and we'll go into the game, but my biggest fail is when my art teacher decided, you know, you draw, like you pick a picture of somebody and you cut it in half and you draw the other half yourself. I'm so sorry, Beyonce. I picked Beyonce's face and I tried to draw it on the other side. It looked like Picasso, and my art teacher never came back.
No, Picasso, don't
Yeah,
shade on Picasso, it's not fair.
That's true. I was
Beyonce, it looked like her face was melting off.
It was awful. But in this game, you are going to this art school and you are trying to find your love interest and get the most affection points to win the game. You can play couple of different game modes. There's the harem mode, and that's 2 to 4 players where everybody has their own love interest. One love interest, and they're all,
so you're all vying.
They're all vying for that love interest.
We highly recommend playing the harem mode,
Yes.
especially if you're just playing with your own partner.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like one-upping who's better at getting another catch.
Well then.
Clearly, I would be able to move on and he'd be stuck by his lonesome.
That's neither here nor there. But in this game, though, there's rolling dice, and that is essentially why I lost, because it's always me rolling dice that gets me. Yes. But in this, you're gonna pick, you're gonna have your player board, you're gonna have different traits, charm, brawn, smarts, humor, kindness, tenacity, and some mojo, which is pretty fun. Mojo is like a wild card. It gets you, there's 2 different perks. All these have different perks depending on how far the levels that you go up. So on your turn, how do you start? You're going to roll the movement die and move your character from the quad of this, because you're in this like Tri-County high school, college, art school, and you're going to try to mad dash it to your lover.
To where your love interest is going to be. So your love interest showcases their school schedule for the week, right? So each day, Monday through Friday, you and your opponents each take a turn, and that moves you down. Once you get down to 5, that restarts the day.
Yeah,
so as you move through the board, you get to bump up your attribute level. So you know, if you end up landing on a strength token, you up your brawn as you go through. And then as you go through with that, you're trying to get to the location of where your special somebody is that day. So if Mike is supposed to be in study hall on Monday, or Jimmy.
That's who we play with, Jimmy.
So you have to try to get to where Jimmy is, but you don't want to rush to mad dash to where he is. Otherwise, when you go to try to make a roll to win his affection, you got nothing, because you got no skills to show for it.
Yeah, and so every single love interest has 3 top traits that they are looking for in their significant other. So Jimmy was dark humor, charm, and smarts.
My kind of guy.
What can I say? And so in this, then, when you get to their location, you make a affection roll, and you're trying to, and you roll an affection die. It literally has a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, and a 1.5 on it, which means then essentially that you're going to take either, if it's a 1, just the first trait, 2, second trait, 3, third trait, or one of each, and add them all together on your player board, depending on how much you've leveled up your person and how much knowledge and brawn and tenacity that you have to win over that person.
So part of the strategy is when you roll dice, right? You have your movement, the different tokens on the board, like we said, can kind of bump up those perks. So you're going to get the best results if you focus on those attributes that are specific to that person. However, one of the strategies is kind of take the earlier half of the game, this is the route that I went, and try to just bump up all of your perks and kind of ignore where he even is. because there's event cards as we go through. So we'll talk about those in a second.
Yeah.
But the results of those events will trigger your options based on how high your numbers are on the different attributes.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you roll a movement die and you move, you have a little like token, like a pathway token. But essentially you're going to put down your token in that spot, covering up it, so then the next person, if they hit it, they're not gaining it. Because whatever is there, if you hit a event, if you get an action card, or then any of the traits, you're going to move up those traits or draw an action card. You start off with 2, you can have up a max of 5 action cards, and if you get down lower than 2 at the start of your next turn, you will draw up to 2. And then you can play action cards, and they say a bunch of different cool things. There's purple, blue, and red action cards, and they're gonna do different things. Red's usually attacking your opponents. Purple is play whatever you want, and then blue is
usually sabotage.
Yeah. So like, there's just a bunch of fun things you can do on your turn against people. Also, a couple other things while you're going around the board. You also have buildings. So the person at the main building, they're at like computer lab, track, studio, visual art center, and then you also have smaller buildings that you can go to, like the gym to get your muscles up.
The frat house.
The frat house, the dorm, I think. And each one of those bumps up those traits in those different areas. So there's another aspect that you can go to as well to make it more fun / build your traits up. And then your love interest moves Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday between all those different buildings, and you're kind of just chasing them around campus.
Exactly. So like we said earlier, they have their set schedule. That's where you're trying to kind of make yourself end up at the end of your 5th round
on a
per
Friday.
Day. On a
Friday. Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of each day, you go back to the center.
Oh yeah, you go back to the quad, and then you have to start back again. And you can't backtrack through a place you've already gone through. So if you're walking this way, you can't go back the same direction. You have to find a different route, which makes gotta use your.
That's the other good time to talk a lot of smack, so that you can throw your opposing players off their game.
Exactly.
Other thing I want to call out is as you bump up your level of attributes, there's perks along the way.
Yeah.
So for instance, I believe it's the strength perk that if you reach kind of 3 of those attributes, all of a sudden, anytime you land on a strength token, it has an additional benefit as you go through.
Yeah, and then the mojo tokens do something cool, like re-roll the affection die,
Right.
or and you're unlocking different perks, essentially abilities or hidden potential that you have to then try to capture your love interest.
Exactly.
And so then there's also event cards, which like Joy was talking about, which are really just fun because they have a ton of flavor text. Like Testa, Braun, Nicole, and Nicholas is jogging around the track. They spot you and invite you to keep the company on their turn. Try to keep up. Seriously though, just do your best, dude. We'll keep going as long as you can. And then depending on where your brawn is, you're gonna do whatever it is. Jog until you hit your limit, gain a brawn. Was that a challenge? Jog until they hit their limit, fill your action card hand list. You know, invite a player to join your run. They get tired so that you can carry them. They're like a baby. Empty the player's action hand. So you can so it's all depending on where your stats are at.
Exactly. So this
you have some fun ones.
Yeah. And then within this game, you can play as a girl, a guy, or even different animals. So for instance, with the test of charm, Sarah or the cat comes up and starts to circle your legs, examining you. They let out a sultry meow. You're not sure what they want, so you try communicating in their native tongue.
Yes. So you don't play as them, you're trying to love interest them. So the cat, he, she,
so there's
whatever
something
you
for
want.
everyone.
There's something for everybody.
So your responses is 0 through 4. If on red, that's your attribute option. You can,
which is charm.
Charm. You can give out a confused meow for a +1 charm, a friendly trill for 2 through 4, and if you have 4 or above, you can hiss at the player.
I like it.
That results in emptying their action card hand completely.
Yes. See, so there's so much replayability and fun, and just it's silly. It's a good time. It can play up to 4 players. It's 30 to 45 minutes, and then it's really easy to pick up. But yet there's so many things you can do. You're choosing what path you want to go. Like Joy, she decided to build up her trait pool, I guess you could say. I made a mad dash to talk to my lover. And made affection points because there's an affection track as well at the bottom of your player board, and you're going to move that up each time you successfully roll affection rolls.
Exactly. So like any other game, right, you have to always pick your strategy and weigh it out. So halfway through the game, I totally looked like he was winning, but I pulled it in Clash move in the end.
Yeah, and then if you level up all your traits to the highest level, they're each worth 1 affection point too as well at the end of the game. And then there's also bonus cards, which then at the end of the game you'll reveal depending on if you can hit it or not, and if other people get it, and if you both get it, you share it. At the end of the game, whoever has the most affection points wins. If there's a tie, it's whoever did the most successful rolls, and if you still tie, well,
you get to share them.
Share the person.
Enough love to go around.
Yeah, or the cat. Why not? So yeah, it's a blast. It's a good fun time. Again, the event cards are hilarious. They're great to do. It's fun because you don't really have control of like what's going to come up because you're not choosing what you're doing. You're just like based on what you decided to level up is what your direction you're going to, which is just kind of like a fun. And it's always like, and then the cool part too is it's always a boat. Like you're gaining something good unless you're making people lose their whole hand by hissing at them.
Right. So what's fun about this game is it combines a lot of different things. So it's very much choose your own adventure. You get to pick your own strategy. So there's different options with that. And I don't know, I was always one of those people who liked the choose your own adventure route.
Yes.
And this is also a great game that you can talk a lot of smack. So it's just a really good time for.
Especially when someone can't roll and you're like, you got no game.
Like, yeah, like real stories.
Yeah, that's how you were in high school.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's not me, but you know, or her, obviously. Plus, I got to be with her, so. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We're Tabletop Vibes. Like, subscribe, comment on your best attribute that you think you have. I would say that mine is probably humor. You, honey?
Oof, there's too many to choose from. But go check out Work of Hearts and you won't regret it.
Yes. Check you next time.